Thanks for stopping in. I'm Mark Wilson, the CEO of Ghost Tree Sales. We're a boutique sales agency that specializes in driving sales of new and emerging brands within the CPG industry with a geographic coverage of North America. And we cover most channels, and we've been around for over 10 years. Myself, I built up and sold my own businesses within CPG, and I worked for companies like Nestle and Wrigley for years. So I've kicked around the industry for a while and amassed a certain amount of information, made a lot of mistakes, and had some success along the way, which I share with every brand that comes to us. We treat them like our own. We're getting asked a lot, and this came out of Expo West this past year, what makes a good broker? How do I know that a broker is a good fit for my brand, be it a new brand, an emerging brand, and even established brands? What is it that makes a good broker? And I always laugh and say, well, you can either hire a broker or you can hire a Pylon. And I'll explain the difference between a broker and a Pylon in a second. And you probably already know, if you've been in the industry for a while, you know what a Pylon is. Really, in a nutshell, what is a broker? A broker is an outsourced sales entity. So they're not internal. You don't fully control them, but they come to you with a lot of experience, and in theory, they should be much less expensive, but equally as effective as an internal sales team at driving your sales. You just don't have control of them. They're a shared resource, and generally they're specialized and they do specific things that maybe you can't get when you hire an internal sales team. And of course, you don't have to worry about the whole HR component. You don't have to worry about benefits, workers' comp, et cetera, et cetera. All that is cast aside, and you can focus on just selling with your broker sales organization. There are big brokers, there are small brokers, one-man show all the way up to brokerages with hundreds of people. Generally speaking, if you're a new and emerging brand, you do not want to go with a large brokerage. They'll charge you big fat retainers. They manage thousands of brands, and they won't give your brand the love and attention that it needs to get from the $1 to $10 million sales range. It just simply won't happen with a big brokerage. Big brokerages are for big established brands that need coverage in established accounts, generally speaking. So if I'm talking to all the new brands out there, the people that I met at Expo West with stars in their eyes and want to change their lives, which certainly can happen when you drive your business, you get a successful business, it will change your life for the better forever. Or it'll crush you, one or the other. And the biggest mistake some brands make, new brands make, is they go with big agencies and they think they're going to get the rocket fuel that they need. That will probably never happen. You want to go with smaller brands. You want people who have experience in the muck building up small brands, because it is not pretty going from that $0 to $5 to $10 million mark. It's ugly, a lot of mistakes along the way. It's expensive. You need people with a lot of experience within that area to make sure that you can move through all of the pitfalls and challenges of building a new brand without going bankrupt. And that's a very specific skill. I know I lost one of my own businesses when I was starting out, and it's very easy to make mistakes. So you need to hunt out a broker that knows what they're doing. So that's a quick shout out to new brands. Be very, very careful. Also, a broker should be almost family, a friend, somebody who is a consultant that will guide you, your business, guide your functional teams from a sales perspective, work with your internal teams. It should be a friendly relationship, not a combative one, not one where you're thinking, God, I have to pay these guys 5%. What are they doing? A Pylon broker. They should be somebody that is right there with you when needed, recognizing they're an outsourced entity, so you're not going to have them all the time, but it should be a very friendly, fluid relationship, very strong synergies. The brokerage should be able to work with everybody on your team. That's very, very important, because again, you're going to spend your energy building your business. You shouldn't spend energy towards managing a relationship and trying to figure out how to make a relationship work with your broker. A broker is all about action, 100% about action. That's what they do. They go out and they create opportunities. They find opportunities. They get in, they know when the category reviews are within the CPG environment. They know how to place your product. They are the ones that will drive your success, and it's all about action. They're not waiting for you to move. You're following their lead. If you have a broker that you have to push to do things, get a better broker. That's a Pylon broker that just sits there, collects their 5%, or worse yet, charges you a monthly retainer and really doesn't do anything. That's your Pylon broker. They just sit there at the side of the road and they really don't do much. You want action, and that's what a broker should be. You should be trying to keep up with them. They're finding opportunities you didn't even think of. That's a good broker. And I'll tell you right now, there are very few of those. There are also those brokers who are great soft shoe salespeople. They're like used car salespeople. They talk a great game. I always say well done is better than well said. Gone are the days of a fast-talking salesperson. Nobody buys that bullshit anymore. It's all about actually selling. It's about facts. It's about a broker getting in front of a customer and helping them understand how your business is going to be a value add to that particular retailer. And that takes facts, that takes strategy, that takes understanding business. The quick talking salesperson, they're dead and gone. They really don't work anymore. So it's all about content and it's all about action. So those are the hallmarks of a good broker. I should also say brokers should be able to make friends fast within the retail space. And the reason why I say that is because the old boys network is more or less dead and gone. So any broker that comes to you and says, oh, we've got connections, I've been in the business 30 years, I can pick up the phone and call Jimmy Bob and I can get you a meeting. Yeah, no, you can't. Brokers these days need to be able to be very, very quick to get in and befriend the new category managers, because the retailers are cycling category managers through categories very quickly, specifically so they don't make friends with brokers. Retailers want their buyers to make the best decision for their business. High margin, category growth, and that involves difficult decisions, and they can't be pulling favors for friends. So if you look at places like Walmart, you look at places like Target, they're moving category managers through categories very fast, maybe 6 to 12 months. Buyers are moving desks to new categories. It's a learning curve. It helps the buyers learn, but it also prevents them from becoming buddies with specific brokers or brands and doing things that are not in the best interest of retailers. So again, brokers need to be able to make friends fast. Their relationships, if they've been kicking around 30 years, well, they should probably retire because the industry's changed. That just doesn't apply. You need a very quick on their feet broker that's all about action, that gets in there and befriends these category managers very quick and earns trust very quickly and has a reputation of being a solid, reputable broker that understands how to take brands, put them on shelf, and drive incremental category sales. Full stop. That's a good broker, and that's what you want to look for. Ask your broker when you're interviewing them. How do you get in and meet new category managers, and let them tell you. And if it's not believable, find another broker. Brokers need to be able to list your product at retail. And this can be in the digital world. This can be in brick and mortar, anywhere where people are buying your product, food service. The broker needs to be able to understand how to place that product in such a way where it's profitable. So there's a lot of math behind this, a lot of offsetting sunk costs like listing fees. So when I say offsetting sunk costs like the listing fees and all these other various fees that retailers charge, the broker needs to be able to put programs into place to offset those charges so you're breaking even generally within a 12-month period. So that means adjusting your price up. That means getting the retailer to buy a lot more product right off the bat to offset some of these sunk upfront costs that fall right to the retailer's bottom line and basically deplete your bank account. You need to be able to claw those sunk costs back very quickly. And a good broker understands the strategies and the math and can negotiate these in a way where they're influencing buyers to say yes to some of these programs that are clawing back the money that you're paying these retailers, clawing it back very quickly. That's critical, because if your broker's not doing that for you, and particularly if you're a new and emerging brand within the CPG retail space, man, you're dead. You're just going to lose your money within the first couple listings that you get. You need to be able to get that money back very, very quickly and take that money and reinvest it back into your business. It cannot just go away. It has to come back very quickly. So that's critically important for new brands. Brokers should also be able to manage your existing accounts in such a way where you're seeing incremental sales year over year, your merchandise properly such that people can find your product and buy it, you're priced properly. Very important for a broker to be able to upsell your existing retailers so you're growing. That means placing new products year over year. That means your promotion plans that you're implementing with these retailers are effective. You're not just throwing money at the retail space. You're actually giving enough promotion dollars, just enough before that point where incremental sales drops off. And there's I'll get into a whole series about promotion pricing and promotion planning to optimize your promotion so you are driving sales without giving away too much margin. Because when the promotions end, you see a cliff in the volume that you're selling through retailers. So there's some very important strategies around promotions, and I'll get into all that. Your broker should know that. And if she or he doesn't, get a new broker. So very important. Brokers should understand and advise on the 4 Ps. They need to be able to optimize the 4 Ps. So anybody who's studied marketing, this is marketing 101. You have to know this. If you don't get a marketing principles of marketing textbook, you need to know the 4 Ps, and those need to be optimized. It doesn't matter what channel you're in. It could be Amazon, D2C. It really doesn't matter. Your 4 Ps have to be solved. They have to be optimized. They have to be profitable, and you have to be able to be fluid and constantly change those. And the first P, this is for new brands, is product. And what should your product be? Different. If you're launching a new product, and it's the same or just a little bit different than what's on the shelf already, i.e. new branding, fancy packaging, don't launch the product. You need to have very clear and identifiable points of differentiation that are important to the consumer, that meet current demands or future demands of the consumer, and that product has to be able to drive, and I'm going to say this word again, incremental category sales. If it's not driving incremental category sales, you're just doing the shell game within the category, moving money around from one product to the other, but the category isn't growing. If you can introduce a product that will bring new feet down into that aisle, new customers into that aisle to buy more of your product than what's already on the shelf, that's incremental sales. You got a winner. Those are really the key points of what I wanted to get across about a good broker. There's a lot more, but in a nutshell, that kind of should help start to answer the question of how do I know if I have a good broker? How do I find a good broker versus a Pylon? You don't want a Pylon just sitting there, you're paying them a retainer, nothing's happening. A good broker is all about action. And after a few minutes of talking to your prospective broker that you're interviewing, you should have a pretty good idea of whether they're just a soft shoe salesperson who talks a good game but doesn't drive any action. Ask them point blank, hey, have you built any brands to category leaders? Like, I'm talking from ideation to on-shelf execution to becoming a category leader. Have you gone through that whole process with a brand and partnered with the brand? And if they say, well, no, we take brands and we just sell them into retail. That's great. My daughter could do that. And she's 6. Okay, you need a broker that will actually take your brand and drive it. And you want to be, ideally, category leader, or you want to have a brand that's going to drive millions in revenue profitably. So you're going to change your life. You can get out of that cubicle and you can start having some control of your life, and you're not some comfortable slave. And that's the whole idea of CPG, particularly if you're a new brand or emerging brand. You're doing this, you've got a reason. You want to build that sucker up, you want to have strong revenue, or you want to sell it. Selling it for $100 million, that's a pretty decent retirement fund. That's possible, very possible. But you need a good broker to help you, particularly if you're in the traditional retail space, and less so if you're in online sales. You don't need a broker. Again, online sales should be really, really easy for you. So look for a good broker. Broker should be of action, not a Pylon. If you're paying a retainer month over month, that happens particularly if you're a new brand, because you do have to cover some of the basic costs of a broker. Nobody's going to work for free. Understand that. I mean, a lot of new brand owners come into the industry space thinking they have the best product in the world and everybody should work for free. Yeah, it's not going to happen. If you think that, then you sell your product on your own for a while. Then once you've got some proven sales, go get a broker. And what they call grandfather or grandmother, in some cases, your existing sales to that broker, and they can start taking a bit of a commission and covering some of their expenses. So a lot said here. Look for a broker, not a pylon. Mark Wilson, Ghost Tree Sales. Happy selling.